All right, welcome back to Gangplank News. My name is Ridley, and this is Didj here. He's going to be telling us a little bit about something he's been working on here at Gangplank. He's been perfecting the formula, making these awesome little plastic. What do you call them? What do you call them?
I call it. I call it a Satori cube or a Satori hypercube. It's a cube that allows you to fold it infinitely inside out. So I like calling it flow cube. I mean, a fidget cube is kind of played out, and the fidget spinner thing is pretty hot right now. But as far as if you're actually, someone that really enjoys, having something to do with your hands, I found that these cubes tend to be the best thing. And it started here at Gangplank with 3D printing, and I've expanded now. I bought another 3D printer, so I'm actually creating things out. And I got my first retail store now, which is called the Flow Shop. The Flow Shop AZ.
Did you bring your stuff with you to show off? Do you have something with you?
Sure. I mean, we got cards.
Can we bring the
cubes?
case over? I just want to show it off. The case, just the whole thing.
I feel like the case is ugly, but
I love the case.
You like the case? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Case
See if
of
we can,
stuff.
If we can
It
show
was all created out of 3D prints, both at home and here at Gangplank. And that would be.
Bring a few cubes out. Just grab a few cubes at random.
Yeah.
Little ones and big ones. Because the little ones are new.
Ooh, look at these little guys.
The minis are the
grab
newest
a few.
ones.
We have guests
tiny
in the
little
studio
guys.
here. We're gonna have them.
Are these edible?
They're not edible, but they're flavored.
Oh, they're they're not edible, but they're flavored and they are shaped like food.
So really quick, they're not food. They're not edible. They are biodegradable and compostable.
Nice.
So
they're and not die.
So they're made of a plant-based plastic.
Really?
So instead of being a traditional usually
It's
plastics,
not like PLA or ABS?
it is PLA.
It is, okay. So
Well,
PLA
is polylactic acid.
I did not know this.
So it's a form of plastic that is generally made from cornstarch. I'm trying really hard to find like a hemp-based starch provider that can make hemp-based PLA, but
Well, it's not PLA, but I guess it's hemp-filled PLA. They add hemp to it.
There's hemp filament PLA now that basically they take PLA and they just shred to a certain micron
powder.
size.
Yeah.
Hemp filaments, basically, right? So then it's not powdered form; it's actually, cut to a small enough length that doesn't clog it. The big problem with 3D printing is you're printing. So these are printed at what's called 200 micron resolution, or 0.2 millimeters. So every 1 millimeter has 5 layers in it. So there's about 100 layers in a standard cube, laying on its sides. They print as a solid object. So basically, there's not any assembly. Every hinge is captured on their print as a fully movable object.
That's crazy for a piece to come out of a printer that's fully movable and you're able to use it.
But I like the idea of something that's
It's
good
addictive.
for I have
so addicting.
yeah I have an Etsy shop now, so satoritoys.etsy.com.
You'll see that on the little thing down here.
There'll be a link or something,
Satori
right?
Toys.
Yeah. So I like the idea of making a toy that is basically gonna be very long lasting, but is also 100 years from now will not be still sitting in a landfill someplace. It takes about 2 months for this material to compost if you're using an industrial composter. That's really what they call eco-plastic or green plastic.
Eco-plastic, great.
The upside of that is that there's no BPA in it, which everyone's heard what BPA is, like a toxic chemical that has been found in different in different industrial chemicals, especially things like industrial plastics.
Right. Yeah.
It used to be in bottles
you have to
until
worry
they
about leaving your plastic water bottle out in the sun.
Yeah.
Or the BPA will leak out
So
into it.
in these
Toxic.
so in these the nice thing is that there's no toxic chemicals that can leach into you. There's nothing. It's
or
entirely
into
a
the
green plastic.
watersheds.
Exactly.
It's awesome. Thanks for coming on, Didj. These are awesome.
You're
you can find
welcome.
them
Thank you.
at his Etsy store.
Yep.
What were you gonna say?
Oh no! I just want to thank Gangplank. I mean, I've been 3D printing at Gangplank for 5
Represent
years.
the shirt there.
Oh, I'm wearing my OG Gangplank shirt. This was
OG status.
this is
Yeah,
the first run of
OG.
the first red Gangplank shirts. I got this
It's
at
in great
Gangplank
condition,
2.0, mint condition.
sells for 10 grand. I mean, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a rare piece.
$10,000 T-shirt that I wear all day.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, thank you, Gangplank, for the ability to like take a moment and think about what you're doing with your business and not have to worry about all the silly office stuff that normal people have to worry about. Now we can just jump right into innovation.
It's interesting for me because I've spent the last 15 years working in information technology, doing building servers and building architecting solutions and things like that for the IT industry. And I've always had the ability to kind of see a data center in 3 dimensions and see how things rack and stack and see how everything integrates and how the networks all work together. So 3D printing kind of connected me to that because it's like I can see something in 3 dimensions and now I can actually print it out.
Right. Right.
Which is really, it's fascinating to me from the first time I started doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I mean, I had one of my Etsy customers has an autistic son that has every fidget under the sun. He has the fidget spinners, he has the little clicky cubes and shit like that.
Yeah, the one with like
Right.
the bubble pop.
Yeah, and she bought him one of these, and she told me that, she wants to have this included in his IEP for his education plan that he's allowed to have. He said that this helped him focus better than any other toy he's tried.
What's
IEP? I could totally see that.
IEP is for children that have special education needs. So if you're in the public education system, an IEP means that your child may hopefully get some additional assistance in their education because they have, they could be autistic, they could be Asperger's, they could be ADHD, whatever it is. It just means that they have some accommodations that may be made for their education.
So is it like things like this, little pieces of?
It could be
things that they
fidgets.
play
It
with,
could
or
it could be speech therapy. It could be
special
occupational
type
therapy. It could
iPad
be all they
stuff.
need more time to take a test, right? It
Okay.
could be all they need like a.
So
It's okay for them to have a fidget toy. Don't fuck with them because they're doing their thing. They're paying attention, right, to you,
Right.
and they have a fidget. That's okay.
That's okay, right?
Right,
As long as they
teacher.
can pass a test,
Teacher, don't
your
mess
job
with
is
them.
done.
Exactly.
It eliminates prescriptions as well because growing up I have ADD as well.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I actually had to take Ritalin and everything to actually focus. So not having these fidget things, it kind of helps in those standpoints.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. I love to hear stuff like that. And I mean, I was diagnosed as a child with ADHD, and it's like I've always been a fidgeter, and I've done the pen spinning, and I've done all things. I tried like the fidget spinners, which I didn't like, and it's been So it's really
Nice.
I think it's a great thing, and it's been something that
Yeah, do it
is
with my layer.
And it's something that if anyone really wants one, they have the 3D printer. They can go Google, fidget cubes and find a file to print out, right?
Yeah, that's so
And-
cool. Which is why you did, and you got
Yeah, I was
started
thinking about
here.
doing that with the fidget
And
spinner.
that's- yeah.
You can print the spinner out, just buy ball bearings, and you're done. Skateboard bearings or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, 608ZZ is the bearing one. If you guys want to print your own fidget spinner, make sure you get a 608ZZ bearing. Buy it from a skate shop.
Is
Not
that
like
a-
cheap crap from China that has
No.
lead in it.
No.
So they're finding that the fidget spinners now have literally they're being made with plastic that has BPA in it.
Right.
And
it's
I
got ball bearing grease in it, I bet.
well, it's not the best ball bearing grease. The main problem is lead. It's a lot of the Chinese
yeah,
manufacturing is actually contaminated with lead right
I bet.
now.
You're right. They don't have the same lead ruling.
They do not
The
have
rules.
quite the same thing, or it's not really about the same rules. They have the same rules, but in China's a little bit different
Yeah,
place.
but
It's
rules
just
are
kind of
different.
it's just
They
kind
have
of the
against
rules
shark
are
fin
different.
Soup, but tons of people are
But
still
you can
eating it.
still buy it, yeah.
Yeah. The government's actually telling them that they should eat it, but
Yeah. I hear it's
is
good
that
for
a
you.
ceramic ball bearing?
Ideally, yes.
The
but
one that you were talking about?
Well, it depends. Bearings. I've had people ask me to 3D print them spinners, and I do make custom spinners for people at times because they want to have a spinner. It's like, okay, fine, I can make that, and
Sure.
I'll buy a quality bearing that doesn't have lead in it. That's a skateboard bearing. Because the
Right.
problem is a lot of the bearings that are cheaper are actually smaller bearings that are less durable, and they're starting to ban them in schools actually now because they tend to fall apart and can be potentially poisonous.
Yeah.
And yeah,
They're choking hazards.
choking
swallowing
hazards and all that stuff. Yeah, a bunch of bearings fall out. So
Right.
that's what I like about it. There's no metal in them,
Yeah.
I like it. It's become a passion of mine. And I've been working with startups for, I don't know, about 8 years now. So it's kind of
the first time I saw it when I randomly
startup, yeah.
Yeah, I came in and saw it on the 3D printer, and I was like, dude, who is doing this? This is great.
And yeah, I get Didj a lot because I'm a professional didgeridoo player, amongst other things.
Yep.
A multi-instrumentalist.
Your
But
official nickname.
I love this night that we did the music night. So I did volunteer to do music at the next one and do a talk about local music and
Awesome.
shows and doing booking shows and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
I'm glad you liked the show.
I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I think it was well put together, and we'll be definitely doing more of this kind of thing in the future, for sure. So, that's it.
How do
Fidget
we
cubes,
how do we wrap? How long are we going for these broadcasts?
As long as we want.
As long as we want. We'll go for all
What do you
night.
want to talk about next?
Well,
Quantum physics? Tesseract X?
I just wanted to get
Well, I do call it a hypercube. I like the idea
Yeah.
of being able to take an object that's a cube and literally continue and go all the way through inside out and then keep going.
So it's
Yeah.
not just a three-dimensional shape necessarily.
It's actually
So it's-
5 dimensions.
So it's a shape that actually can transfer
Yeah.
different shapes now.
That's badass.
5th dimension.
So 5 dimensions.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I should show you guys. I had a request for a retail package.
Yeah.
This is the new retail packaging. It's all shiny.
So it's shiny.
Sure,
You
it
gotta show
had
the
the
back. The
cube.
back's all like
Yeah, look at
shiny,
the
Shininess.
holographic. Yeah, super shiny. And people said it has to be shiny. So that'll be the next stage of evolution.
On store shelves at certain
One thing
stores.
people ask about rhythms for the cubes. So I like saying that you can actually think of it as going through it. So you can always split it in half. And then keep going the opposite direction and split in half again. And just do that 10 times. Is it good?
Is that
Do it
is
10
that a
times with
meditative
each hand.
practice? From the book of Didj?
That's about 10 times. Well, 10 times goes back to breath practice in monasteries, actually.
Oh, wow.
So when they're starting to teach you meditation in a monastery, they say that your brain's going to wander off and do all kinds of wild stuff and go different places. So what they say is that you start counting your breath, and you count 10 breaths, and you can count if you want to count the in breath and the out breath, you can do that. If you want to count just the in breath, you can do that too.
Okay.
Right? It doesn't matter. Just count
You
to
count
10, and then you start over again. And what's
Okay.
surprising is that when you're really in a stressed out state of mind, right? You're really thinking you're worried about work or groceries or what you're having for dinner or whatever. You can't even make it to 10 before your mind wanders off.
Yeah. Yep. That is true for most.
So I like the idea of doing 10, but you can pick a number. So I just usually think about doing it. And I had one person that got a cube that keeps it at her desk at work. And she said when she's feeling stressed out, she'll take and just pick up the cube and do a few revolutions, and it makes her feel better. I was actually at a music festival at Form at Arcosanti.
Oh yeah.
And had someone that I handed one of these cubes, and she said, "I suffer from social anxiety. This makes me feel better."
That's awesome.
Whatever works, man.
So yeah, so I think it's a great concept. So I like the idea that it's an open source cube. Anyone can print cubes if they want to, right? I make these myself. I've kind of modified the design a bit based on open source sources, and then print and finish them myself. So people have found, I've known people at Gangplank here have also tried to print cubes and found out and printed them only to find that they're solid blocks of plastic.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult to get a good print.
It's hard to get a good print out of
Like
these,
this.
yeah.
You know,
You
with
have to get the
moving
right
parts like
infill.
that.
You have to get the decision on whether you put
And-
wraps on
and
the print or not.
Not even the settings. The printer has to be in good working order.
Yes.
Yeah, I've noticed that you
That's
started
true.
using glue on the bed.
I
not
have,
using the tape
made
anymore.
the controversial decision to, move from using blue tape, as it's known in the 3D printing industry, to using what's generally Elmer's glue. Actually, the glue
it the
glue
stick?
sticks. Yeah, the glue stick with like the purple.
It's
the
strange how
that's
strong
purple.
it is. Like, I'm surprised you're using the glue stick because I see people trying to pry these things off and they're like pulling the bed off.
It's something about the material that the glue is actually made of. So you're not using wet glue and trying to glue it down. You're literally letting the glue entirely dry, so there's no water in it. Which is the purple stuff that dries clear is nice for that.
Oh, so you let it dry before you start printing?
Oh yes, yeah.
Okay, huh.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine it kind of becomes a little more wet or sticky once you print on it because it's hot glue.
It doesn't. It doesn't really
melt.
melt. It just seems to adhere very well to that surface, which keeps the cube level, right? If the cube starts to warp as it's printing, if it's peeling off the surface, then you're basically the whole print is basically screwed at that point. Yeah,
yeah.
It's
Especially
toast.
for a moving part piece.
Yes, because these print as fully captured hinges, so they has to print a functional hinge, or they don't work.
Awesome, man.
These are awesome.
I have so many more questions.
Well, apparently we have nothing but time, so.
Apparently.
I'm just gonna do this. This is all I need. I need a microphone.
Let's do this all night.
Well, Chris,
these are rad.
yeah. Ridley.
Yeah.
Well, Ridley, thank you very
Who's
much.
Chris? Yeah, Ridley it is. That's my name. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming on, Didj, to Gangplank News and telling us about your
You are very
latest
welcome.
creation that
It's
was
a pleasure.
manifested here, I think, right? Yeah. So was your first print here?
My first print of these was here at Gangplank. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this has been, I've been Gangplanker for about 7 years, and it's a wonderful collaboration space here in the Valley. And
My first print was at Gangplank too.
yes.
It's a wonderful place. All right, well, thanks for coming on. If
You're
you guys
welcome.
want to
Thank you
buy
very
these, satoritoys.etsy.com. That's where you're going to go, and they're for sale right now. So thanks for joining us, and have a good rest of your day.
Good evening.
ladies. Good evening.
Thank you.